captioned it the Church and Youth Apostolate towards a reorientation of the Catholic Biblical Instructors Union Youths. Actually, I know you said, let me remember what you told me to speak on. It's written here. Do something, make a difference. That was the general theme. Do something, make a difference. But if you are doing something to make a difference as a Catholic youth, it is under the big umbrella of the Church and the Youth Apostolate, because the Catholic Church has a special apostolate for the young ones. So that's why I captioned it the Church and Youth Apostolate towards a reorientation of the C.B.I.U. Youths. A paper presented by Reverend Father Tobias Luke, the C.B.I.U. National Chaplain, at the first National Summit of the C.B.I.U. Youths, today, August 24th, 2019, at the National Headquarters, Umobu, Owerenta. So I beg you to pay attention. I know that maybe majority here are from the Igbo-speaking area of this country. We still have few of our brothers and sisters from other areas. So we are going to present this paper in English, and maybe later on in your parishes or dioceses, because I know with time we are going to replicate what we have in national levels. We step it down to the understand level, understand level, and then to unit branches gradually. So there it may be explained to you in your own vernacular. So it was Cicero the philosopher who once said that the success of any empire depends so much on the education of her youths. Borrowing from this assertion, I will say that the continuation of any group or organization depends so much on the harnessing of her youths. This is more so true of the Catholic Biblical Instructors Union (C.B.I.U) as a renowned biblical apostolate or movement in the Catholic Church. Hence, for C.B.I.U to thrive and achieve her maximum calling to evangelize, special attention must be given to her youths. And that's exactly what the National Council is doing now, by having this separate summit for you. Meaning that this National Council of C.B.I.U has a very much focus on the young C.B.I.U members, the youth, because of the future. So it's a very good initiative. So the theme of this first summit of the C.B.I.U Youths Convention is do something, make a difference. I was actually asked to speak on this theme. However, remembering that C.B.I.U is a biblical apostolate in the Catholic Church, and that the Church has special plans and attention for her youths, to which C.B.I.U belong, I decided to caption it the Church and Youth Apostolate towards a reorientation of the C.B.I.U Youths. It is therefore our aim in this paper to profile how C.B.I.U Youths can integrate all facets of life to enhance their relationship with God and equally hold the union in high esteem. Hence, the theme is a clarion call, a challenge to action. It is an invitation to transformation of our youths, hence the union. It's an invitation to holistic human development. Before going into this paper proper, it will be urgent to see the Church's position on her young ones, the youths. But actually, what we are saying in this paragraph is that this movement is a way of harnessing the young ones in C.B.I.U well. So that as some are aging away, the younger generation who are coming up will be granted, and will have what they were handed over to still run this union and even improve on it. Because there's Igbo saying, so it is our aim, it is our hope, it is our prayer that when it will be your own turn to be here, you will perform better than us. That's our prayer. So, and there's no other way we can achieve that aim except what we are doing now, which I believe, or I'm suggesting, will be stepped down to the provincial, diocesan, unit, branch levels with time. So that there will be a very good synergy among the youths of C.B.I.U at different categories, levels. so that when they are properly united and harnessed, they can represent this union anywhere in the future. The church and the youth. Before then, a biblical statement goes, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Acts chapter 2:17, compare also Joel chapter 3 verse 1. So, this is a prophecy by Joel. Please make sure you don't sleep. I know maybe some of you were awake last night, but make sure you don't sleep. Otherwise, the aim of your coming here is defeated. And make sure your phone is on silence or vibration, so that your phone will not ring as we are delivering this paper. I would suggest you pay that attention to what we are doing. It will benefit you and also benefit the church and your family. So the church, already God has in the scripture promised to pour his spirit upon all flesh, especially the younger ones. And when we talk about the younger ones, we're talking about the youths, who are the hope of the nation. So the synod of the bishops on the young people in 2018, just last year, captures this well when they say the bishop that organize a synod is always everything. Almost every year we have a national youth week, youth program. So but the synod of bishops captured something well in 2018 concerning the young ones. And I quote, the presence of young people was something new. Through them, the voice of a whole generation was heard in the synod. Joining with them as pilgrims to the tomb of Peter, we experience how drawing together in this way creates the conditions for the church to become a place of dialogue and a witness to a life-giving fraternity. The power of this experience overcomes all weariness and weakness. The Lord says to us again and again, do not be afraid, I am with you. This is taken from the final document of Synod of Bishops on the Young People, Faith and Vocational Discernment of 2018. So the bishops expressed, because that was the first time they incorporated the young people in such a synod, and they said it's something new, something wonderful, something very interesting, that moving along together with the young ones, even to the tomb of St. Peter and the Basilica and the Square, they feel that the church was complete. That means the church has also heightened and increased her attention to the young ones. The church had always given attention to the young ones, but that particular or singular opportunity or action last year makes that try to feel that the church is now so much interested more on the young ones. So the church has never joked with shepherds and the youths in special way. A brief exposition of the popes and their pontificates will explain this clearly. Many pontiffs have said much and done much about youth apostolate in the Catholic Church today in the world. But for the sake of time, I will limit my emphasis on the last three popes, ranging from Pope St. John Paul II through Pope Benedict XVI and down to Pope Francis. What I'm saying is that throughout the history of the church, every pontiff, every pope has something remarkable to say or do about the youth. If we start from the first pope talking, we will not go. But I want to just, based on the last three that we are just saying, the Pope St. John Paul II, then Pope Benedict XVI Emeritus is still alive, and Pope Francis, the incumbent Pope. Let us see what each of them briefly said about the youth. Let us start with Pope St. John Paul II. After his first Angelus, the Angelus is not just the prayer of Angelus, but it's a gathering, he does it every Wednesday. Actually, after the Angelus prayer, he ceases few minutes to address the whole world. So, after his first Angelus, at the end of the solemn liturgy that inaugurated his pontificate, some people are making noise, please pay attention. After his first Angelus, at the end of the solemn liturgy that inaugurated his pontificate, 22nd October 1978, Pope John Paul II improvised as he greeted the large number of young people gathered in St. Peter's Square. His words seemed to me to be a concise summary of his personal and pastoral approach towards the younger generation. So when he was elected newly, just about 5 days after that, in Los Angeles, he made a remarkable statement about the young one. And people already interpreted that is very much interesting. That means that he has also the young generation at heart. So let us see what he said. So his words seems to be concise, okay. You are the future of the world. Pope is talking about young people. The hope of the church. You are my hope. He said you are the future of the world, the hope of the church, and as Pope said that you are my hope. So Pope St. John Paul II said that you, the young ones, the youth, you are his own hope, his own prospect. He was there for almost, I think he read for more than 26 years. So, St. Pope John Paul II trusted the young people and saw them to be a great hope for the church and for the world. In the 26.5 years of his pontificate, he devoted no less than 904 speeches and writings to the subject of the youth. You know, he was there in his office for 26.5 years. So he said within these 26.5 years, he had a total of 904 writings and speeches centered on the young ones in the Catholic Church, the youth. So these were homilies, speeches, messages, and letters that fill 3 large volumes of 2,242 pages. So he has 3 volumes on the youth throughout his pontificate. And the total pagination is 2,242 pages on the youth alone. And when we are talking about the Pope, we are talking about the visible head of the church. That means we're also talking about the church, because the Pope is also the church. Praise the Lord. So Pope St. John Paul II said, what are young people of today like? What are they looking for? It could be said that they are the same as ever. There is something in human beings which never changes. This is true, especially in the young. But today's youth are also different from those who came before. The Pope recalled the painful experiences of the generations, the 8 generations that lived through the war as he did, and other dehumanizing events. This, however, revealed traits of great heroism among the young. These experiences of heroism helped the Pope himself to find his own personal vocation. Pope is trying to say that it is true that in their own time, the experience among the young ones is different from what is happening to them. Because they thrived at the time they saw war, they suffered some dehumanizing things, and they are trying to see that today the younger ones they are not having such experience, and as such their level of thinking differs from what happened during their own time. The Pope himself was trying to say that what he passed through the war helped him to find his own vocation. These were people who worked, who struggled, who saw war every day, who saw threats, but they were able to withstand it, and they became what they are. But that today, things are not such that way. However, that we can still help people of this generation to learn how to reflect and take so much and meditate about the past. Today's youth, however, are growing up in a different context, which is that of a consumer society. Are you following? So, these are things we want to review so that we know what we can do as CBIU members to be different from other younger people of this generation. So, this, however, does not mean that young people reject traditional values or abandon the church. Today's youth are idealistic too, but this is sometimes expressed in the form of criticism rather than commitment to duty as in previous generations. All this sum up led the church to institute World Youth Day as serious pastoral plan and agenda. Are you following? Because of this condition about comparing the youth of today and of that of yesterday, the church was led to institute the World Youth Day as a serious pastoral plan and agenda. So since that time started, every year or thereabout, every other year, there are often serious program for the youth. On the world level, we have a team, general team, in the Catholic world, which later on other countries, local churches, Nigeria will do their own. People come back to dioceses and so on and so forth. It is trying to link, trying to bridge this gap between the youth of the old and the youth of this generation. That is why the church instituted the World Youth Day. Amen. Amen. So let us also see Pope Benedict XVI and his few ideas about the youth. Like his predecessor, Pope St. John Paul II, Benedict XVI also took the opportunity given by the beginning of his pontificate to show his closeness to the younger generations. See, that's one thing with the church. The church does not abandon a project started by a predecessor. There is a country in Nigeria now, a Christian comes,